Most people are afraid of clowns. Mr. Bell wasn't. He lived in a house next to ours. The one with the blue porch and the dead wind chime that moved even when there was no wind. Mr. Bell said there was nothing scary about clowns. They were just men with tired feet and paint on their faces. He should know. Every summer, Mr. Bell worked as one. He wasn't famous. He didn't have a television show. He mostly worked county fairs, school festivals, and children's birthday parties. He made balloon animals. He pretended to trip over things. Sometimes he pulled a plastic chicken from his pants. I never thought it was very funny, but adults laughed. Adults laugh when they think children are supposed to laugh. Mr. Bell's clown name was Bimbo. His costume was faded burgundy and cream. He wore a green bow tie and a round red nose, held in place by a thin piece of elastic. Without the makeup, he looked ordinary. A little tired. A little sad. Like most grown-ups. With the makeup on, he looked happy. Even when he wasn't. That was his job. One August, a large traveling fair came to the next town. It had 3 Ferris wheels, a haunted house made from folding walls, a row of games where nobody ever won the large prizes, and a circus tent at the far end of the grounds. Mr. Bell was hired for 6 nights. On the first evening, he left home carrying his costume in a brown suitcase. He waved at me from his driveway. I asked if he would bring me cotton candy. He said he would. Then he leaned closer and said, "Never trust blue cotton candy." I asked him why. He said, "Because nothing in nature is that blue." Then he laughed. Mr. Bell always laughed after saying something that wasn't that funny. The performers changed inside a concrete building behind the circus tent. It had once been used to store livestock. There were no windows. Only 2 steel doors and a row of mirrors with round bulbs screwed into the wall. The mirrors were old. Black stains had formed beneath the glass. Mr. Bell said they looked like fingerprint pressing from the other side. When he arrived, the room was almost empty. A woman in a silver costume was fixing feathers to her shoulders. 2 men were arguing over a box of juggling pins. At the far end of the room, someone was sitting in front of the last mirror. Another clown. Mr. Bell had never seen him before. The clown wore a baggy gray costume. No colored spots. No stripes. No bright buttons. Just gray cloth. His shoes were black. His gloves were white. His face was already painted. White skin. Thin black eyebrows. A red mouth curved upward at both ends. The clown sat with his hands resting on his knees. He was looking into the mirror. Mr. Bell nodded him. The clown did not nod back. Mr. Bell thought he was concentrating. Some performers didn't like talking before a show. So he sat 2 mirrors away and opened his makeup case. First came the white base. Then the blue paint above his eyes. Then the red circles on his cheeks. He worked slowly. Clown makeup has to be even. A small mistake can make the face look angry, or sick, or frightened. Mr. Bell was painting his second cheek when he noticed that the room had become quiet. The woman with the feathers had left. The jugglers were gone. The only sound was the buzzing of the bulbs, and breathing. Mr. Bell looked at the gray clown through the mirror. He had not moved. Not once. His hands still rested on his knees. His back was straight. His painted eyes stared at their own reflection. Mr. Bell tried to remember whether he had seen the man blink. He watched for a while. The clown did not blink. Mr. Bell looked away first. He picked up his red nose and stretched the elastic around his head. The elastic snapped lightly against the back of his neck. In the mirror, the gray clown's mouth opened. Only a little. Then closed again. Mr. Bell turned toward him. The clown had not moved. His mouth was still painted shut in a smile. Mr. Bell told himself he had imagined it. The lights were bad. The mirrors were old. And clown faces always looked different from the corner of your eye. That was why some children were afraid of them. Mr. Bell turned back to his own reflection. He adjusted his bow tie. The gray clown adjusted his bow tie too. But he wasn't wearing one. His white gloved fingers pinched the empty air beneath his throat. Then returned to his knees. Mr. Bell froze. The clown froze. Mr. Bell slowly raised one hand. The clown slowly raised one hand. Mr. Bell lowered it. The clown lowered his. Mr. Bell moved his head to the left. The clown moved his head to the right. Like a reflection. Only there was no mirror between them. Mr. Bell stood. The clown stood. The chair legs scraped across the concrete at exactly the same time. Mr. Bell took one step backward. So did the clown. But the clown was closer than before. Mr. Bell looked down at the floor. There were 7 tiles between them. He took another step backward. The clown copied him. Now there were 6 tiles. Mr. Bell took another step. 5. He stopped. The clown stopped. Mr. Bell's heart was beating so hard that the red nose trembled on his face. The gray clown's nose trembled too. But the gray clown had no nose. Only a small red circle painted where one should have been. Mr. Bell whispered, "Who are you?" The clown moved his lips. No sound came out. Mr. Bell whispered again, "Who hired you?" The clown whispered something back. Mr. Bell could not hear it. He leaned forward. The clown leaned forward. 4 tiles. Mr. Bell stepped away. The clown followed the same motion. 3 tiles. That was when Mr. Bell understood. The clown was copying him perfectly. But it was not copying distance. Every repeated movement brought it closer. Mr. Bell spun around and ran for the steel door. Behind him, the clown ran too. Not chasing. Copying. Mr. Bell heard the same footsteps as his own. Exactly the same rhythm. Exactly the same weight. But each step sounded nearer. He reached for the door handle. His fingers closed around it. Another white gloved hand appeared over his. The glove did not grab him. It simply matched the shape of his hand. Finger against finger. Palm against palm. Mr. Bell pulled away. The clown pulled away. They were standing face to face now. So close that their red mouths almost touched. Mr. Bell could smell grease paint. Not fresh grease paint. Old grease paint. Warm from someone else's skin. The clown stared into his eyes. Then Mr. Bell realized something worse. It wasn't looking at him. It was looking through him. As though Mr. Bell were the mirror now. Mr. Bell raised his hands. The clown raised its hands. Their palms met. Mr. Bell felt something cold pass into his fingers. It moved through his hands. Up his arms. Into his chest. Not like water. Not like electricity. It felt like a gesture. A movement his body had always known but had never performed before. The bulbs above the mirrors went out. Only for 1 second. When they came back on, there was one clown in the room. He was wearing a faded burgundy and cream costume. The green bow tie. Large black shoes. And a round red nose. The gray costume lay empty on the floor. The clown stood in front of the mirror. At first, he did not move. Then both hands flew to his face. He grabbed the red nose and pulled. The nose stretched. His skin stretched with it. He pulled harder. Pain shot through his face. The nose was no longer held by elastic. It had nostrils. They widened with every frightened breath. The clown screamed. A rubber horn sound came out. A short, silly honk. He screamed again. This time, the sound rose and fell like a slide whistle. His eyes filled with tears. But the tears did not roll down his cheeks. They shot outward in 2 thin streams. They struck the mirror. One after another. Squirt. 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 The clown covered his eyes. His shoulders shook. Somewhere inside the costume, Mr. Bell was crying. But his new body made it look like a joke. He grabbed a towel and scrubbed the white paint from his face. The towel became white. His face stayed white. He scrubbed harder. Skin peeled from his cheek. The flesh beneath was white too. He wiped at the red smile. The paint came away. The smile did not. The corners of his mouth were no longer drawn upward. They grew that way. He pushed them down with his fingers. The muscles forced them back up. His smile widened whenever he became more afraid. The clown began to breathe faster. His red nostrils opened and closed. The smile stretched. Wider. Wider. Until the skin beside his mouth began to split. He tried to call for help. But every word came out wrong. Help me became, he helped me. High and cheerful. Like a puppet in a children's show. He tried again. Please. It came out with a little laugh at the end. Please, ha ha. The clown stared at himself in the mirror. His human fear was still there. Mr. Bell was still somewhere behind the eyes, but his face could no longer express it. Everything on this had become funny. His pain, his voice, his tears, even the way his hands shook looked like part of an act. Then his body became still, completely still. The tears stopped. The breathing slowed. The smile remained. The clown tilted his head. Not like Mr. Bell. Like someone trying to remember how Mr. Bell used to move. His right hand slipped into the pocket of his costume. The pocket was small, barely large enough for a handkerchief. His arm went in past the wrist, then the elbow, then almost to the shoulder. The clown pulled out a hammer. It was bright red. The handle was yellow. The head was enormous. It should not have fit inside the pocket. It should have been made of foam. The clown held it with one hand. He looked at it curiously. Then he placed it on the concrete floor. The sound was not soft. It was not hollow. It struck the ground with the deep metallic crash of a steel sledgehammer. Dust fell from the ceiling. A crack appeared beneath it. The clown watched the crack travel between his shoes. Then he looked back at the mirror. His reflection was no longer copying him. It was still sitting in the chair, wearing the gray costume, watching. The next morning, Mr. Bell came home. He carried no suitcase. He was still dressed as Bimbo. A faded burgundy and cream costume. A green bow tie. A red nose. My mother saw him standing in his yard. She said, "You're home early." He looked at her, then at me. He did not answer. My mother asked whether he was feeling alright. The clown reached into his pocket and handed her a bag of blue cotton candy. Then he walked inside his house. He did not come out for the rest of the week. At night, I could hear things through my bedroom wall. A horn. A whistle. Sometimes laughter. Sometimes the heavy sound of metal striking wood. My mother said Mr. Bell was probably practicing. On Friday, I looked through the gap in our fence. His back door was open. The kitchen was dark. All the furniture had been pushed against the walls. Colorful paper circles covered the floor. Red, cream, burgundy, like giant pieces of confetti. Mr. Bell stood in the middle of the room, still wearing the costume, still holding the hammer. There was something on the floor in front of him. I couldn't see what it was. He raised the hammer, then stopped. His head turned toward the window. Toward me. I ducked behind the fence. For a long time, nothing happened. Then I heard his back door open. Heavy footsteps crossed the yard. I stayed very still. A shadow fell over me. The top of the hammer appeared above the fence. Then the painted face. Mr. Bell looked down at me. His smile was wider than I remembered. There were small tears in the skin at both corners. His red nose opened and closed as he breathed. I wanted to run, but I thought that if I moved, he would copy me. So I stayed still. Mr. Bell stayed still too. We looked at each other through the fence. I whispered, "Are you still Mr. Bell?" His smile twitched. For 1 second, his eyes looked frightened. Then the fear disappeared. He leaned closer. Close enough for me to smell the old grease paint. And in a soft, cheerful voice, he said, "My smile isn't for you, my little buddy.